Hi, this is Shiva Rajaya from vitalcoaching.com. We are talking about vital sex and tantric sex, and the topic for this video is 7 steps to boost your sexual intelligence. What does sexual intelligence mean to you? If you check in internally, what comes to mind? I'm going to give you a few hints about what this concept is about. The idea of sexual intelligence is the idea that you really master your sexual energy, that you can direct it in ways that are playful, exciting, empowering to you, that you play with the mindsets and the emotions associated with sex in ways that are masterful, that you can direct your sexual energy when you want, that you have physical skills as well, that you have emotional skills to deal with all that. It's the ability basically to use sexual energy in ways that are creative, productive, and empowering for you and for those around you. So this is sexual intelligence. You heard about terms of emotional intelligence, and this is a new concept to take in, and that will really start guiding you and helping you. So the question that you can ask yourself right now is, how sexually intelligent are you? Between 0 and 100%, you give yourself a mark. 0% is like you're totally hopeless and useless. 100% is like you're a masterful person at using sexual energy in ways that are empowering for yourself and for others. So have a check-in and then listen to what I'm going to say, and then you can see where there is space for exploring a little bit more and experimenting with your sexual intelligence. So tip number 1, to become more sexually intelligent and to boost your sexual intelligence, you have to try, play, and experiment. What that means is, if you want to learn how to swim, you have to jump in the ocean or into a pool, into the water. Try, play. If you want to become more sexually intelligent, you have to experiment. You have to dare to actually try and engage into that field. Watching it from the side is not going to make you necessarily more sexually intelligent. If you want to boost your sexual intelligence, you have to play with sexual energy. It means that you need to engage and start experimenting with it, trying new things. Tip number 2 is be open. Very often when I ask certain questions to clients or friends, and very often I see people disqualifying things really fast. They will say, for instance, if I ask the question, oh, do you want to try some dynamic breathing and add that to your sexual experience? People might say, well, yeah, I tried that 3 years ago with a partner. I didn't like it. I gave up. That's it. It's like, what? It's like experimenting with certain new techniques takes sometimes a little bit of time and perseverance. So disqualifying something just because you tried once, that's not necessarily the wisest thing to do. So if you want to integrate new tantric sex skills in your life, you have to persevere a little bit. Try something more than just 4 or 5 seconds and then giving up on it. Okay, that's the idea. So it's be open and see this whole field, this whole tantric field, as an experiment, as something that you go like, oh, I never tried that before, but let's go and give it a try. And my guess is that when you're seriously going forward and trying these new things, I mean, it is going to work. It's going to bring some new qualities, fresh energies into your system that you didn't even know were there. So don't position yourself from a place, I know it all, I have nothing more to learn and I already tried. No, it's like, be curious, be open. When somebody gives you an advice or it gives you a new tip, like watching this video, go like, oh, yeah, I don't know what this is about, but I'm happy to go and give it a try. And God knows what's going to be unleashed if you actually go and do some of the things that I'm suggesting. It might totally boost your space. So disqualifying simply from the start might not really be the helpful thing for you to do. Be open. Another tip on how to develop sexual intelligence is to train your body skills. A lot of what we do with sexual energy has to do with activating our bodies physically and energetically. So developing skills on what is going on inside of you and how to activate other people is one essential aspect of developing more sexual intelligence, on how to use your sexual energy on the physical level. Another tip is emotional skills. So emotional skills means the ability to play with your sexual energy on an emotional level. Very often we are in situations in life where you get challenged. For instance, if you are in straight relationships, if you get challenged by the opposite sex. For instance, as a guy, I might meet a woman and that woman is going to start triggering me or generating certain emotions that have to do with her use of sexual energy and my use of sexual energy and the way we play with each other. So check in your field, when is the time in the last few years that you have been challenged, and you will very often realize that it has to do with love, sex life, and relationships, with feeling betrayed or feeling hurt or a breakup or jealousy or divorce or something where there was a big communication gap or somebody emotionally disconnecting. So those challenges that have to do with how you use your emotions within a sexual context is a very powerful aspect of our lives. And so if you are able to engage sexually from a place of emotional intelligence, from a place of sexual intelligence, then you are able to play and look at the flow of your feelings and emotions and not necessarily get them to be stacked in your system. If you're not sexually intelligent, what will happen is that you will experience emotions and they will tend to be stacked in your system, blocks, energy, frustrations, anger, irritation about certain behaviors that you might be witnessing around you. So the idea of sexual intelligence and playing with sexual energy on an emotional level means being able to play with these waves and flows of coming and going emotions. Some of the emotions are extremely beautiful, positive, romantic feelings of bliss and joy, and some of the emotions that you might experience might be a bit more shadow and challenging based. So when a challenge hits you, when you see a shadow wave coming and hitting you, because maybe a lover that you used to have betrayed you or is now dating or sleeping with your best friend, what do you do? Do you block, do you contract, or do you go like, oh, interesting emotion, I feel a bit disturbed by that, or I feel a little bit challenged, let's see how this happens. So rather than just going on Facebook and sending an angry message to your friend, you can go like, let's close our eyes and feel into what's happening right now. And so all these dynamics are what we call emotional skills, emotional sexual skills. And this has to do with your sexual intelligence. Another aspect of your sexual intelligence is the openness, respect, and flexibility. So if you are extremely rigid with your principles and you communicate with other people saying things like, this is the way sexual energy works. This is what works for everybody. For instance, you might say, well, committed relationships don't work because you get bored after a while. Or you say, open relationships are not an option and they don't work because everybody gets hurt. You're creating overgeneralizations. When you generalize something, an example of an action or an experience that you had, and you generalize to the totality of humankind, this is called a cognitive distortion. It means that you are overgeneralizing things and creating principles out of very limited experiences. So what you have to realize is that your mind, your body are a very specific filter. You take energy and you interpret life through the filter of your mind and your body, which is the result of the experiences that you had in the past. You have been conditioned in a certain way, and your interpretation of life will be a certain interpretation. So learning how to respect other people's experiences and feelings, it's one of the core aspects of creating a beautiful, harmonious planet where everybody lives in peace. And when it comes to sexual energy, the idea of being open, and respectful of other people's preferences is one of the core things to learn. For instance, if you are straight and you are in touch with somebody who is gay or bisexual, be open to the idea that this is their preference and it's their right. And so the idea of respect is very important in that. So tolerance, it doesn't mean that you are going to play necessarily and engage. For instance, if somebody comes to you and says, you know what, I just want to be in a committed relationship, and you say, well, I prefer keeping my freedom and my options open, you don't necessarily have to engage with that person, but respecting at least their opinion and their feelings is super important. You know, if you say somebody's feeling something, they go like, I feel hurt by something that happened with that person, and you say, well, you should not feel hurt. No, they are feeling hurt. The feeling is real. So accept, respect, hold space for that person, and be simply a very, respectful, tolerant, and flexible, open person. Another way to boost your sexual intelligence is to surround yourself by people who are on the same path. It means that if you have lots of friends who have been experimenting a lot with sexual energy and who have been practicing all these tantric ideas, and suppose that you have you are a man and you are in a tribe of 4 or 5 men who are all practicing ejaculation mastery, you are of course going to learn from each other. Of course, it's a natural thing, because you are reflecting. It's a limbic resonance, energetic resonance that you establish with your friends, with your tribe, and you enter in resonance together from a place where you are learning from each other's experience. And so creating a tribe of people who are aligned with the values of what you're developing and experimenting with is one of the powerful ways to boost whatever you decide to do in life. Another way to boost your sexual intelligence is to learn. Keep on learning. Watch videos like this one. Go online, check. Wikipedia is packed with information. So knowledge, information develops a sense of wisdom and understanding about certain aspects of life. So I encourage you to go and check it out and keep on learning and expanding. That's it. I hope this video gives you a good boost and lots of inspiration. The topic is, again, sexual intelligence. Keep that in mind, and maybe do another assessment in a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now. How sexually intelligent are you, and what can you do to mark new points, to increase your level of sexual intelligence? That's a good one to keep in mind. See you soon.